Hi, this is Richard Chamberlain, and welcome back to the Protecting Your Family's Future podcast. This is episode number 141. Today, we're continuing our discussion on the mistakes to avoid in your living trust. The last couple of weeks, we did mistakes number one and two, talking about in the design of the plan, mistakes you can make with trustees and beneficiaries. Today, we're going to start talking about after you have your trust in place, what kind of mistakes do you need to avoid? And the first one is not funding the trust properly. Now, if you're like most people, you created a trust partly to have your estate avoid probate when you pass away. That is a very good goal. It's very common. If you're not sure why you might want to do that, we have lots of episodes in the podcast about why you want to avoid probate. So I encourage you to go and take a look at those, give those a listen. But let's say you do want to avoid probate with your living trust. What you need to do in that case is make sure that your assets are properly aligned with your trust. That process is called funding. We call it asset alignment in our office. And it's a process of taking your assets and either changing the ownership so that they are owned by your trust or updating the beneficiary designations so that the trust is a beneficiary of that asset. So, for example, for bank accounts, for investment accounts, for real estate, for business interests, you want to have the trust be the owner of those types of assets. For things like retirement accounts, life insurance, annuities, you want to have the trust be the beneficiary, either the primary beneficiary or the contingent beneficiary, depending on your particular circumstances. And if, of course, you're going to want to talk to your estate planning attorney about what you should do specifically, but generally, that's what you want to do. So, making sure when you have your trust in place, you get all of your assets properly aligned is important. But it doesn't stop there. I was meeting with a couple just yesterday. They originally did their plan in 1999, so about 26 years ago. They updated it in 2015 and came back again to update it yesterday. And they weren't sure what assets they had that were owned by the trust and which weren't. So over time, things can get unaligned. As you might have a car that you have either owned by your trust or have the trust as the beneficiary. You might sell that car and you get a new car. Well, you need to make sure that you align that one properly too. If you close bank accounts and open bank accounts, if you sell real estate and then buy new real estate, you need to stay on top of the funding. You need to stay on top of the asset alignment so that it's correct when you first do it, but you have to maintain that over time. So avoid that mistake with your trust of not funding your trust properly and not keeping it properly funded. If you have any questions about asset alignment or funding, how that works for you, if you live in Ohio or in Michigan, we can help you with that. You can just reach out to us. Our contact information is in the show notes. I hope that's helpful for you today, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks.